Hello, everyone. Welcome to the week five Pickems with myself, Cobb, and today we are joined by
Benji.
Benji. Yes. So this week gonna be some interesting matches for sure. Let's.
Definitely, yeah.
I don't have our logos on here, but let's just jump right into it. First off, we have the Oshawotts versus the Garrigmach Garchomps. Oshawotts, of course, coached by Kachurin, and the Garrigmach Garchomps coached by Jiminy Cricket. And moving on to the teams, I will say first that Robert has himself as the winner for this one,
Of
and
course.
and in
Also,
some
I just want
ways,
to say really quick, I'm proud of you for saying coached instead of hosted.
yeah, I practiced. It was a lot of personal growth on that one. But yeah, for this one, I can honestly see it. Um, Robert, of course, just has a very good variety of mons across the board, and Kaiser is, um, for the most part, he has an amazing fast mon in Alakazam, but other than that, most of his offensive presence is purely physical, and Robert has things like Gudra, like Slurpuff, like
Miltank.
Dugtrio, yeah, Miltank especially, that are just going to be able to take those hits and deal even more damage in return. And
Definitely. And I think the Slurpuff there is going to be really, really scary for
mhm.
the Garchomps, mainly because their Mega is Garchomp, who is not the fastest and also a Dragon Boy, so just
Oh
gotta
yeah,
watch out for that fairy type potential belly drum sweep. He
for
does have Toxicroak to kind of stand in the way, but I'm pretty sure it gets some moves that can cover that, so that's gonna be a little bit terrifying.
yeah. I don't quote me on this, but I believe Miltank gets Earthquake. I believe Dugtrio will get
It does, yeah.
Earthquake. Uh, lots of threats there for Toxicroak as well. So he does have the Oricorio, which can go four different ways, and I'm excited to see how he utilizes this. I do believe he will need to get a little creative to find a way around Roberts' just pure offense, um, while also being able to play a bit defensive game himself against some of those bigger threats.
For sure, yeah. And on top of that, Robert also has a lot of things that are just like super bulky, like the like we said before, the Miltanks, physically defensive, really, really good for most of the threats on the Garchomps. And then also he has the Araquanid that could just take hits from pretty much anything.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Not to mention that sticky web setup, gonna
Yeah.
cripple a few, even the few of the faster mons there. Definitely gonna cripple those. Although I will say, Blissey can definitely take some hits.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have to be careful
But
with that.
also, I feel like if Blissey gets trapped in with a Doug trio, it's probably dead meat because you know it doesn't have the best defense, obviously.
Yeah. Um,
So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit tough there. But
yeah. Kaiser gonna need to get creative. I definitely see Robert immediately having the advantage in this matchup.
for sure, I agree.
All right. So we'll move on quickly here.
To
Next
our
up,
next one.
the Williamsburg Whimsicots, coached by Pantros and co-coached by Incog, one of last season's players. And on the other side, we have the Vigoured Vespa Queens, coached by Ryan DCB, back for another season. So
Our boy.
yeah. So this matchup, Robert has going to Ryan and the Vigoured Vespa Queens. Um,
Interesting. Okay.
I
I
haven't.
can kind of see it because, like, I feel like the Chandelure is nice for the Steelix and
Mhm.
just a lot of his threats, and then also like and the Whimsicott and like Jirachi too. But then also he has that Mamoswine to threaten out the Hydreigon and even Raichu. Like he has the type matchup for sure. I can
Oh
see.
yeah, yeah. I really like that. The Blastoise definitely going to useful, and this isn't a team I can see being crippled too easily by the status that Whimsicott provides in Prankster.
Yeah, for sure. Because he doesn't really have a lot of things that are scared of being burned. Like even Chandelure can. Well, that's not even something that it does, but
Hmm.
like just stats in general. Ryan's team has a lot of ways to get around, and I'm pretty sure Togekiss gets Heal Bell. I want to say, or something along the lines of that.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
Not sure. Something can heal on Ryan's team because I remember when I was prepping for it, he had a lot of things that I was like, oh no, I can't do that because he'll just get around it.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think here. Um, I will admit neither of these teams I have begun prepping for yet, so I don't have a terrible amount of insight into their respective ones. But I know last season Chandler definitely can be a threat. Um, Togekiss can definitely do some damage with that.
Yeah,
Um,
especially with those flinches that I'm pretty sure he cheesed out a game with earlier.
oh yeah, oh yeah, it
Can't
gets
get
like
him out.
60% chance with Serene Grace or something like that. Off
Yeah,
Air
it's pretty
Slash.
crazy. Air Slash is insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
And also, yeah, it's just like Kartana is one thing that Ryan keeps dropping like randomly, like it keeps just dying. But
mm-hmm.
it also is a huge threat that you have to respect to build around no matter what. So
Oh yeah, that
that's
thing's an
another
Ultra
big one.
Beast, so you just know its stats are something crazy.
Oh yeah, and it's like a hard counter to Whimsicott. Now that I think about it, they're
Yeah.
both grass, but it's super effective because of the steel and fairy. It's just like
Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
Grass Steel. So even though it's a bit of a frailer mon, it does have a decent defensive typing.
yeah. That and also like it's only frail on the special side. Its physical defense is like really high,
Oh
so it's
really?
not even that frail. It's
Hmm.
just abusable if you have a fire move, basically.
And yes, I imagine Pantros will want to run some hidden power fires just in case on some stuff.
For sure,
Um,
yeah. I think the biggest thing that Ryan has to watch out for is the Minior, because if Minior gets past Mamoswine, which is pretty much the only form of like actual priority on Ryan's team, with the Shell Smash up, it could honestly do a bunch of damage. Because it has the acrobatics
oh yeah,
coverage for Beware, it has the Rock for Vikavolt and just like Togekiss,
that's
and
true.
pretty much
Yeah,
like it has some sort of coverage for almost his entire team.
yeah. I actually completely forgot about Minior. Yeah, that can definitely do some damage with him with Shell Smash. Ryan gives it a turn to set up, and I can actually, yeah, yeah,
He
that can
just has to get rid of
definitely,
the Mamoswine. Because that's
yeah.
the only thing. The Mamoswine has Ice Shard, so
Oh
I think
yeah.
that's really important for Ryan to bring here. And it's also Mamoswine's nice for Hydreigon as well, so that's another sweeper that needs to fear the Ice priority.
Mm.
But yeah, I definitely. Who did Katrin have again? He had Ryan.
Yeah, he had Ryan for this one, but I'm inclined to agree, but it will definitely be a close one.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think it's super close, but I think it's honestly just the fact that Ryan has the Mamoswine to answer the sweepers, and then also like
Mm-hmm.
it's entirely how they prep around it and how they play around it. Because if the Whimsicotts get the right opportunity, they could just plow through Ryan's team if Ryan doesn't have the right counters left alive.
Mm-hmm. I definitely see like the first person to get some serious momentum can definitely just sweep it.
Yeah, totally agree.
All right,
Anyway, on to
moving
the
on.
next
We have the Krabby Club, myself, versus the Staggering Star Raptors, hosted by Siderius.
one.
And
The Cobb.
yes, and my partner Ethan NRP, aka Yogurt Bert. But
Oh
this,
yeah.
so these two teams are actually the two undefeated teams left in the league.
Yeah, you guys are crazy. I'm actually really excited to see this battle. Because
uh,
this means a lot. Like this is gonna be the one team that gets to be 5-0,
mm-hmm. And
and it's decided by you guys fighting.
it is actually Siderius last season was the one who basically taught me how to team build and how to prep properly for these uh, draft matches. So yeah, this is definitely going to be. I know him and I are both excited for this one. See what we bring to the table, and because he knows I get crazy, I get really creative with some builds, and
Yeah, I saw your whole like spreadsheet thing you had. I thought that was amazing.
yeah,
That's a
that's
lot.
under construction for this matchup right now. But yeah, Robert did give it to me, and
Hmm.
in some ways, I have some good wall breakers. I mean, I can get Gallade going. I can get him set up with maybe Swords Dance, bulk up, whatever I want to do. And I can, even though Sid has so much bulk on this team, I can definitely see him taking down Gallade somehow. And just after that, I don't have a terrible amount of stuff that can kind of shift things back in my favor. Like most of my emergency offensive mons, like Revenge Killer stuff like that, are Azelf, Blaziken to an extent, Coco, Cobalion, but they're all some of them are frail in the case of Azelf and Coco, but and the other ones are just victims of bad type matchups, I feel.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think the reason that Sid's team is so strong is because he has like really good type coverage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that's gonna like do really well for him in this battle and could sway the tides if he gets the right KOs and the right timings. But I think the reason that Katrin gave it to you and the reason that I think you have a good shot here is the fact that most of your offensive mons have really, really good type coverage. Like
Mm-hmm.
Delayed gets the elemental punches, it has fighting, it has psychic, it has like probably
Or,
stone edge and earthquake
yeah,
and
it
stuff.
has Stone
So
and
like
Earthquake, yeah.
yeah, so it's got like it has a type to match pretty much everything that the Straptors are using, and that's just a really good matchup in general to bulk because like if they're trying to use their typings to take hits, but you will
Yeah.
always have the type advantage like to cover it really. And then like you just have like multiple different sweepers that have good type coverage as well, like Blaziken as well. So I think you do have the right Pokemon for the job. You just need to make the right calls the whole time. That's going to be the challenge of this game.
Mm-hmm. And definitely, Sid has been slept on in certain departments, I would say, especially in the earlier weeks of this league. Um, so I would say, in some aspects, people sleeping on him and not prepping properly for all of his mons is definitely been to his credit. And this whole time, I have not been sleeping on him. I've been pretty well aware of the damage he's able to do with this kind of under the radar roster in some aspects.
Yeah, honestly, Loki, I think he might be one of the best, if not the best battler in the league. Because he
Hmm.
just, I don't know, his prep's always been on point and his plays have always been really good. He just seems like he knows what he's doing for sure. And like, I don't know, that Ambi Palm kind of strikes fear into people's hearts.
Oh, for sure.
The amount of damage it's done, it's crazy. Although
Mm.
I don't think it's gonna be an issue for you because you do have like several fighting types, so that should be good. But
Yeah, I mean, I can toss Azelf out there with an explosion if I really need to kill something, but
yeah, you
uh,
have that random nuke button if you do need it.
yeah, give it a sash. I don't know, give it a choice scarf if I need to, and it can take down anything.
But yeah,
Um,
I think this is going to be a brawl, to say the least.
yep,
And
I'm
I'm
excited.
going to give the slight edge to you. I think you've got this, but it's going to be hard. I can see this being a 1-0 either way.
Yeah, or I can see it being a 6-0. Someone just gets the momentum and runs with it.
That is possible as well.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lean either way because I don't want to be overconfident, but I also don't want to underrate myself. So I will remain neutral on this one. I will take your and Robert's words to heart and
Yeah,
give
I
it
think
my
you
all.
got this. Let's go, Cobb.
Next up, we have the Windsor Worples, coached by Turkeyzilla versus UU's Muslim Mewtwo's. And Robert has this one going to the Mewtwo's. Um, I definitely agree with this one at first glance.
Yeah, honestly, I agree too. I think the Medicham could really do a lot of damage here.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the elemental punches, deal fire punch for Scizor. It's got like fire punch for Serena as well, and then just the sheer power of its attack stat with the
Yep.
huge power ability or whatever it's called, pure power, huge power. One of those, uh, really is just going to tear through the Worples teams here because of unfortunately his draft's not the strongest. It's not terrible, but also I feel like it just doesn't have the right type synergy to handle the onslaught of Mega Medicham.
Right, because I do believe Turkeyzilla is coming in this as a first-time competitive Pokemon player. So his draft was admittedly not the most well-rounded, but he's definitely been making great use of it. Definitely picking up the game very fast. And I would say there's definitely some workable aspects here. Sharpedo Mega does get Aqua Jet after all, and I can see that priority being useful in kind of revenge killing things like Mega Medicham. These other fast kind of stuff he has like Tornadus. Um, I don't know. I
Yeah, he does have some priority, so at least he can stop like full on sweeps probably.
mhm.
But I definitely see like Medicham, Magnezone, both of the genies, Clefable, just all of them being
Oh
really tough obstacles for him to get around.
yeah, Clefable's gonna be tough to break. That thing is obnoxious.
Yeah, cosmic power is not a fun time.
Although Turkeyzilla does also have Quagsire, which is a pain if you don't have the proper coverage for it.
Yeah, but we
Um,
are not sleeping on Torterra as we've been told. So
nope.
I think
One day
he
it'll
does
sweep.
have that answer. He does have that answer sitting right there
You just gotta run a
for
Trick Room
Quagsire.
team. and it's over.
Oh, true. That's that's the low key threat. Does anything on this team even get Trick Room though?
I feel like
I think
Clefable does.
Uncle Fable.
I feel that's my guess. Maybe not.
I doubt it does because I think you'd see it more in VGC if it did. But anyway.
True. I have no experience with competitive Pokemon outside of draft.
Oh really? Wow, you're really good then.
Thank you.
That's don't sleep on Torterra though.
Oh yeah, don't sleep on Torterra.
Anyway.
Don't sleep on Dustox either.
Yeah, Dustox low-key strongest Pokemon in the league. We're just not ready.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ahead of its time, honestly.
He's saving it for playoffs.
So Gen 8 meta, that's where
Yeah. Gen 8, Gigantamax Dustox.
Yeah, it'll get some new support.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I definitely see Mewtwo's for this one just on the Mons alone in difference in what they've picked and the respective rules.
Yeah, honestly, like literally, I could see Metacham tearing through everything.
Definitely
But
gonna
I
want to
also
prep
don't
for
want to
that.
discredit. I don't want to discredit the Wormples because they do have a few things that
Oh,
can
for sure.
combat it. But I do see Metacham being like a huge problem.
Yep.
In this match.
Definitely got to prep for that. Definitely got to prep for Clefable. Got to prep for Torterra, I guess. Just like any team is defeatable. I want to say it's like aside from some extremes, any team is defeatable by any other team with the right prep. And
Yes.
I pulled that off last season with I had a team of entirely set up sweepers plus like melodic, and I actually got like decent wins because you just have to get creative with your prep. You have to give them a gimmick that they would not predict, I guess. You just have to go unconventional, and I feel like that's the appeal of draft. So I believe in Turkeyzilla, but I'm still giving it to the Mewtwo's.
Yeah, I'm same sentiment. Honestly, I feel like it's possible he's got some priority to fight the sweeps and stuff, but I think Yu just has a lot easier in this matchup specifically.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
Moving on.
Next up.
Oh boy.
The Honorable Houndooms.
So,
We're gonna pretend this match didn't happen yet.
yeah.
The Honorable Houndooms, coached by Fencer, versus the Mischiefs Murkrows, coached by yourself. And
By me. Yeah.
Robert did give this one to the Murkrows, and Fencer, up to this point, has not delivered. Though it is, to his credit, it has been more of a preparation kind of thing. So I feel like once he starts doing these prep, because I've noticed he gets swept because things don't go according to plan A and there's no backup plan.
Yeah, for sure.
So once he can kind of shift that momentum in his favor and either come back from the opponent's momentum or just get the momentum right away and carry his own momentum, I feel like his team will definitely serve him well in that regard.
Yeah,
And
because looking at his team, like even though he has gigantic weaknesses to like fighting and stuff, he still has some really tricky mons and a few things. Like if he were to run some more unconventional sets, he could certainly catch people off guard.
oh yeah, like I'm pretty sure that's something I've said. Like his team has a ton of potential just for surprise factor alone. Like Mew, that thing is one of, if not the most volatile mon, I would say, in the game.
Literally.
It gets so many things. You can run so many different sets on it: pure offense, pure defense, pure support.
It learns basically everything. Its stats are all the same, so it can do whatever stat spread you want. Like it's really tough to prep for.
You just gotta hope you outspeed it and can one shot it with something.
Yeah, which is not an easy feat considering it has 100 HP and then 100 both defenses. So like, it's almost a guess, but that's why prep is so important.
Oh yeah, prep is definitely going to be important for both people playing against Fencer and for Fencer himself.
Yeah. Looking at this, when I saw it originally, I was like, okay, this should be relatively easy. I do have a fighting type, so I can take out at least 6 out of his 10 Pokemon. So I thought, okay, Primate's really important here. Zera also gets close combat, so I thought that would be really nice as well. But the biggest thing that I think Fencer's team has the capability of abusing on my team is that there's a lot of like holes in my defense when it comes to dealing with one typing over and over again. So the fact that he has like a bunch of things that use like rock and ground moves was actually very tough to prep for because I have a lot of things like I have maybe 1 or 2 answers to each type individually, but if you just keep throwing that same type at me, then I don't like the one Pokemon that's meant to check it will eventually just go down to like residual hits, and then the rest of my team won't be able to switch into it.
Right, like
So he can
spread
abuse
yourself
that
too
with
thin.
yeah, exactly. So he can abuse that with like Gigalith's rock coverage and Crocodile having Stone Edge and Earthquake and Stack Attack having rock moves
Mm-hmm.
and like just stacking coverage on things. Also, my team Loki also has a fighting weakness, so he can abuse that.
Yeah,
He has the Hitmonlee to sweep with the unburden stuff.
yeah,
So he's definitely got like a lot of options to deal with my things. He just has to prep correctly,
yep, and
and it's certainly possible. Also, completely unrelated to this battle, Gigalith has Explosion and Iron Head, which I was not aware of when I was looking at the prep for this. So I have learned these facts within the last few days, just completely unrelated to this battle.
interesting.
Like, so that's really nice because Diancie is 4-time weak to steel. And
Huh.
that's another thing he can abuse too, is that my team has a lot of 4 times weaknesses. He trains 4-time weak to ground, which he has several users of.
Mm-hmm.
And Gyarados
Fair,
4-time weak to electric, which
Ferrothorn
he's
four
got that
times weak to
electro.
fire.
Yeah, Ferrothorn 4-time weak to fire. Diancie 4-time weak to steel.
Yeah.
So he's definitely if you prep right and you have the right Tekken moves, you can certainly make the right dent in the team.
Oh yeah, and for those 4-time weaknesses, even like hidden power will suffice.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So
Mm-hmm.
it's certainly possible. And Porygon Z gets a lot of really good coverage too. So that thing alone can just be unpredictable and scary.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's certainly possible for Fencer's team. I think my team definitely did have the inherent advantage. However, I need to not sleep on him just in case things go wrong because they certainly could if I'm not careful.
Yep.
Yeah.
uh,
So anyway,
yeah. Moving on.
we're gonna move on from that.
Next, we have the Italian Infernape, coached by Dom, and the Charming Chandelers, however you want to say it, coached by Uni and Parm, coming
I
in.
keep forgetting about these co-coaches, but yeah.
Yeah. And this one, Robert is handing it to the Chandelers. Dom, of course, is 0-4 in the league, but to his credit, he subbed in on a 0-3 team. It's only one of those
On an O2
losses.
team,
0-2?
actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, and then
He
the...
played me in week 3, basically as soon as he
Mm.
joined. With we both of us were kind of under prepped because he switched his Mons. So I was prepped for the team that was previously there, but I
Oh,
just wanted to prep
gotcha.
him anyway. And then he made a team kind of quickly because he just wanted to get his first battle out of the way because it was close to the end of the week. So that
Mm,
was kind of like most people kind of forgot that even happened. But yeah, that
right.
happened. And then he also lost to Katrin. But both of these were, first of all, not bad losses
Yeah,
because
those are
we're like
good losses.
literally top 2, or sorry, we're 2 and 3 on the power ranking that Katrin made. And then on top of that, like they weren't even like big losses. It was like a 3-0 and a 1-0, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So like to Dom's credit, he has not done bad so far. He's just kind of had an unfortunate situation.
For sure. But yeah, I
Mhm.
don't think... I haven't watched any of his replays, seen the kind of decision making he's made, but his team definitely is honestly pretty good. Like I would
He's
say
got
it's
some
one of the...
sleepers.
Yeah, I think this is honestly one of the stronger teams in the league. It's just applying it, I want to say.
Yeah, for sure. I've actually done a little bit of prepping with him for like his previous battle
Mhm.
against Katrin, and now that I've shown him how to do like damage calcs and stuff, I think he's got a like much higher chance of doing well than he did previously.
Oh
And
yeah.
his prep like is certainly creative, and he knows how to battle. Like he does a lot of random battles and stuff, but he just has to like actually get the experience in the league format.
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely a
Anyway,
learning curve.
yeah. But I think he certainly has a solid chance of taking this, even though I do agree with Katrin. I think Uni's team is a little bit more solid in the matchup. But I
Mhm.
do think that like Dom's team has the options and like the coverage that he needs to take things out. And he's got some sleeper picks. Like Malamar is low key really scary.
Oh yeah. Now that I'm looking at it, cuz one of Uni's scarier mons is definitely that Keldeo and getting that set up. The Bronzong, of course, being a defensive wall, like nothing short of it. Um, but Dom actually has some pretty good monsters to deal with it, like Gastrodon, Malamar. I want to say that's part water, right?
Yeah. Oh no,
Okay.
no, no, it's not. It's Psychic Dark.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but
Uh,
its biggest draw is the fact that it has Contrary and
mm,
it runs Superpower, and then it just kind of buffs itself, and you have to deal with that after a certain amount of
true.
time.
Yeah,
And
that
I
can
think
definitely
Superpower
be
is
a
gonna be
defensive
really
threat.
nice.
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure, and just offensive too, because I think it's gonna be really nice for taking out the Kyurem with the Superpower.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
definitely can't sleep on Dom's team here. Actually, looking at it more, I think with Tentacruel as an answer to Keldeo, because Keldeo is a special attacker, I
Yeah.
think that he actually has like a pretty decent type matchup here. It's just overall his team's very like monotype-ish, because when it was originally built, it was pretty much like half water, half fire, and then like a little bit in between.
Yeah.
And he couldn't really patch that up too much with only 3 changes. So he kind of has like a one trick pony sort of team
Yeah.
that could be worked around by good prep, which Uni is very good at doing.
Hmm.
But I do think he has like the right Pokemon. He just has to make sure that he preps the right way.
Definitely. I can see stuff like Espeon, being able to deal with Infernape, being able to deal with Nidoqueen, Machamp, um, Keldeo being part fighting, I believe.
Yeah,
Um,
Keldeo's water fighting.
okay, that's a weird typing, but
Yeah, it's actually really good though, especially because it has, I think it's called Secret Sword or something. It's a special fighting move that's not like non-accurate like Focus Blast, so it's actually a threat.
huh.
Yeah, it's like 90
Uh,
power or something like that. It's actually pretty good.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I can see this one definitely in Uni's favor, but if Dom is able to pull it off, I definitely see him just running with it. Like first chance he gets to shut down one of Uni's um, more potent engines and just get something set up. Um,
Yeah. Also want to note that the Italian Infernapes have to fight against Infernape. It's kind
oh
of a
yeah.
team fight. Big rip.
when's
uh
when when are the Chandelers playing against Ryan DCB because he has a Chandelure?
yeah. It's really funny. You have to kill your baby. The one that's the name of your team.
Actually, last week we had Acello and Ninetales who have Garchomp versus the Garrigamok Garchomps.
Oh yeah, that's true. And then if the Ninetales have to fight Crow, I don't remember if it's happened or not, but if that happens, that's gonna be the Ace and Little Ninetales versus someone with a Little Ninetales. It's
When
funny how many people don't have their team's mascot. But anyway,
yeah, we
this
didn't
one
take
just
Krabby.
no one took Krabby, unfortunately. It's too godlike for us.
Most of the Ninetales versus the Alolan Ninetales. Anyway, I
Yeah.
digress. I definitely see Chandelur's
Digress.
having the advantage in this particular matchup, but I believe in Dom. I think if he's going to pull off a good win, this will definitely be one for him.
Yeah, I can see him doing it. But I think it just all will come down to like the teams are both really good. I think the megas are the reason why Uni has the slight edge because Aerodactyl is really good against his team,
Oh, yeah,
especially his mega itself.
that Charizard is going to have some weaknesses.
Yeah. But anyway, we spent enough time. Slight edge to Uni and Parm.
Yeah.
LOL Infernape versus Infernape. Let's move on to the next one.
Next up, Philadelphia Flareons versus the Cosmic Crobats. This one going to the Flareons in Robert's humble opinion. And while I will say, don't sleep on Crow, this is going to be a tough one for him.
Yeah, I can totally see what you mean. I also agree never to sleep on Crow. But yeah, I advocate he does not have the worst draft, I don't think. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I think low-key Flareon, drafted by the Flareons correctly, is gonna be pretty good here because of
Mm-hmm.
all the ice types. We do have, I believe, 5 ice types. Let me look at this team. One,
Ninetales and Slash.
four, four
Yeah.
ice types. But yeah, I think that that fire attacking coverage, and then also the low-key HP electric that he ran week 2 against me, against my Gyarados, he
Yeah.
could actually throw that out, and then having the fire electric coverage kind of just covers all of Crow's team. So you do have to fear that Flareon pretty hard.
Yeah. And you'll Crow's team is mostly physical attackers. Like you have Azumarill, you have Abomasnow, which can set up with Swords Dance. You have not Manectric. Did I say Cloyster already? Because
You
Cloyster,
did, but yeah,
uh,
Cloyster, Sandslash, Azumarill,
yeah,
uh,
Nido,
even
no,
partially
Nidoqueen special.
Mandibuzz. Nidoking can be either.
Yeah.
Lucario can be either. Abomasnow can also be either. So like his whole team is susceptible to that. So that is concerning. With physical attackers, we're talking about burns, of course, and just like
Yeah.
the wall that his team could set up, because Blastoise has good physical defense. I think
Imagine it
Togedemaru does too, but I'm not
also would
sure.
get skulled, I want to
Yes,
say.
that too. That too. And I
Florges being
think
a good
Flareon gets
special
Will-O-Wisp.
tank.
Yeah, Florges also tanks the other side, so he has that full tank coverage. But yeah, when I was prepping against Crow, I noticed that like his entire team is anchored on the fact that he has a Azumarill to cover the weakness of the ice types. So you do need to just prep for a Azumarill, and then once you get around that hurdle and you have an answer to ice, you can kind of just tear through him. Like when I played him, I beat him almost entirely with Sableye because I burned a Azumarill, and then I kind of just kept stalling out the rest of the team. And I almost had everything burned by the end of it because it was just he was unable to get momentum as soon as his like big setup sweeper was dismantled. So I think if Jaden can just kind of disable the Azumarill from doing anything too scary or like prevent it from setting up belly drum, Crow's gonna have a really hard time getting momentum back in his favor.
Yeah, and like that's the big thing against Crows, that Azumarill, once it's set up, Cloyster to an extent, once it's set up, those are going to be able to do some damage if you're not prepped for it. But like you said, we have Blastoise is pretty much going to wall both of those even after they're set up.
Yeah, for sure.
And Scolipede as well, very potent hazard setter, very potent a lot of things.
Yeah, super fast with a speed boost.
Yep.
So even after a few turns, it might even keep up with the Sand Slash in this hail with the Slush Rust boost. It'll still be faster than that. So you can't even rely on the fact that that thing's basically the fastest thing possible.
Yep. Although, we'll say Sceptile, 4 times weak to ice.
Yeah, so don't
That's his
sleep.
chance. That's his chance.
Yeah, he's just got to take it out. I think, does anything on his team get Ice Shard? I think maybe Cloyster does?
Abomasnow does get Ice Shard.
Abomasnow does. There you go.
Yep.
So maybe we'll finally see. Or no, I think he's brought it once, but he hasn't really been known to bring his Abomasnow to a lot of battles.
He
So
did use
maybe
it
we'll
against
finally
me,
see.
and it did actually do some pretty good damage against me.
Well, there you go. Yeah. So we'll see if that makes an appearance again. I think it might be a good choice here. But he does have to watch out for the Flareon, the
Yeah.
Togedemaru, the steel coverage, even Scolipede and its bug type moves actually, and poison. Oh my god, Abomasnow has so many weaknesses. And it's slow, so that's a little bit.
Oh yeah, that thing's like 30 base speed or something.
Yeah, it's really bad, but it's good under Trick Room if you manage to set that up somehow. I don't think anything on his team can do that though.
Yo, Piku would be the fastest thing in the trick
Yeah,
room. It's got
Pyukyu would
5
be
base. 5 base.
It's
All
only
right.
5. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a rock.
Yeah. But
All right.
I can definitely see Jaden having an upper hand here, and Crow's gonna have to do some really smart prep to get around this.
Yep, for sure. Gonna need Crow to get creative. I believe in him. He is my son, but I'm giving it to Jaden in this one.
Yeah, I
All right,
agree.
moving on. Something I just realized is that earlier I said that the Acellola Ninetales versus the London Ninetales, but I was actually just looking at Robert's little matchup thing he did, which was Lycanroc versus Ninetales. Anyway,
Oh,
that's the one we're at, and Mikkel,
funny.
Mikkel and the London Lycanroc versus Sword of Strife and the Acellola Ninetales. He's got this one going it to himself, or not himself. He's got this one going to Mikkel within the London Lycanroc, and I played against these guys last week, and I pretty much only won because of one misplay, and even then it was by the skin of my teeth.
Oh wow.
Mikkel's team is very scary. Between the Lando T, between the Toxapex, between even the Incineroar, the Noivern can definitely do some damage if you're not ready for it. Mega Manectric, he's just got so much stuff you have to prep for.
Everything's a threat.
Oh yeah.
I totally agree with you. I'm actually like he's my week 6, and I actually just finished like my first draft, I guess you could say, of my team for him. And oh my god, was it hard to prep for everything. The thing
Yep.
that scared me the most was Silvally, because I just don't know what it's gonna do.
Oh
It
yeah,
could
that
be
can.
literally
You don't even
any
know what
type.
type it has. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, I can't even hit this thing super effectively, reliably. And then on top of that, it gets like every coverage move. Like I think it's probably one of the only Pokemon in the entire game that gets Flamethrower, Ice Beam, and Thunderbolt.
Jeez.
That's like I don't know what to do, but it's scary. So like that thing could be a huge threat to Sword of Strife's team, because Sword of Strife team is very reliant on all of the individual sweepers doing their jobs. But if any of them get dismantled and he loses momentum and he has to switch, he's
Yeah.
just on the back foot the whole time. And Mikkel has Landers T with the U-turn, Manectric with the Volt Switch, Incineroar also with a U-turn, which I thought was weird that it got it, but it does. And then just like all this like momentum going for him that's really scary to switch in against. So I think it's going to be really, really tough for the Ninetales to not be on the back foot if they lose their footing at all.
Yeah, 100%. Like Mikkel will get momentum once, and he will have to wrestle it out of his cold dead hands to get it back.
Yeah. Completely agree. And
Yeah.
also I noticed that the Ninetales have a similar issue to my draft where they have a few Pokemon that are kind of 4 times weak to things and they're easy to cover for. With the
Yeah.
Garchomp 4 times weak to Ice, Talonflame, and Charizard both 4 times weak to Rock,
Mhm.
Golem 4 times weak to Grass and Water. And yeah, it's just going to be a little bit easy to prep for those ones. And another thing that Lightning actually pointed out to me, the person who's been awesome and keeping track of all of our stats this season,
Mhm.
is that Sword of Strife keeps bringing pretty much the same team to every single battle. So
Yeah.
Mikkel should have an easier time predicting what he's going to have to be up against.
Maybe it was all
So
leading up to this, the big mix-up. He's gonna run the
yeah,
other 4. He's gonna run
yeah,
like Charizard, Golem.
Klefki and
He hasn't brought Klefki yet.
nope. His
That's
team for
crazy.
every battle so far has been Garchomp, Metagross, Rotom-Mow, Talonflame, Kieran Black, and Gardevoir Mega.
That's kind of nuts. Klefki
Yeah.
has an amazing array of status moves available, as well as having Prankster and a great defensive typing and good bulk.
Yeah. And it gets hazards too, so it's just like
Yeah,
Prankster hazards. Like, what more can you ask for? Yeah, so I think honestly Klefki could be good here.
Mhm.
Its typing is super nice against Mikkel's team. The only thing it really has to worry about is the Landorus. Everything else it can kind of just like
Mhm.
avoid, and it won't really have to worry. Maybe not Articuno, Incineroar as well. But like the rest of the team can't really hit it that hard, so it kind of just has that free like chucking hazards and status at you without too much fear.
Yeah.
So like maybe it's the time to mix up the team comp. You got this, Sword. I believe in you.
Definitely
But
believe in
also,
Sword.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be really hard for him.
Yeah. I will say Sword has a pretty good roster. Like
For
overall,
sure.
there's just a lot of threatening offensive mons there, but he's been really good. He's actually asked me for advice after our match, and he has yet to learn how to fully apply it yet. I feel, but
Yeah, I can definitely see that because I've like on top of bringing the same Pokemon, his sets have also been very similar.
mhm,
So I feel like the adaptation's not fully there yet, but I do see him trying, and that's the important part. Like he's really excited. I talked to him like at Smash Ry actually, and he said that like he's really liking the league. He thinks it's really fun. So I can tell he's into it, and he's gonna start making adjustments and trying to improve. And that's the important part. And I think this will be a great learning experience for him.
I like that.
But this particular battle, I can see being a little bit difficult. But
It's
I think he
tough.
can do it if he makes the right reads. It's
Mhm.
just going to be hard.
One last thing, we actually have the similar Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man thing. We have Gardevoir and Mega Gardevoir
Oh, yeah.
going up against in this one.
That's really funny. And I also think we'll see that at some point as well with him and Dom because they have Charizard X and Charizard.
Oh yeah,
So just noticing all these little things. But anyway,
there's actually only like
uh,
10 Pokemon,
yeah.
like in total. Like everyone just has different versions of the same 10 Pokemon. Anyway, yeah, going
Definitely
with
see
Lycanroc
Mikkel.
for this one.
Yeah,
But I believe in Sword. He will
he has
figure
a
it out.
shot
Yeah,
for sure. He's on that upward slope. He's just got to get there.
yeah. First season learning. That's how you do it. That's what I did last season. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's been a pleasure. This has been the Casual Cup Season 1, Week 5 Pickems, hosted by myself, Cobb, and Benji. Uh, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to our rambling about which Pokemon that people have on both teams.
Yep.
And hopefully we weren't too annoying or anything, and that you enjoyed this. And we'll see you next week. Well, we probably won't, but someone will see you next week from the league.
All right.
Unless we have to emergency schedule again. Thank you, Cobb, for saving the day.
No worries. All
All
right.
right. See you
Peace.
guys later.